This conference will now be recorded.
Hello everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. So let's see one more server today. Yesterday we have done with NFS server, and as I told you that NFS has connectivity between Unix to Unix or Linux to Linux. Now how about if I have Windows as a client? So same like NFS, I wanted to share the things with Windows client. So in that scenario, we have to go with a concept called Samba. Samba is an concept where we will take server as a Linux server, but clients preferably will go with Windows. So the workability, the concept is almost similar to NFS, what we have seen yesterday. The profile usage to is to share the data between cross-platform, that is Linux to Windows. Packages that is required are Samba, Samba Common, and Samba Client. There are two services of Samba, SMBD and NMBD. Port numbers 137, 138, 139, but the most important port is 445. File system that is used in Samba is CIFS. So yesterday we learned that NFS use NFS file system. Samba uses CIFS, Common Internet File System. Configuration file is etc samba smb.con. There is a sample configuration file from where we have to copy some data. And where is that sample config? It is in etc samba smb.conf.example. From here, you can copy some stuff into your Samba configuration and work. All right, let's see how to configure a Samba server. Let me log in into our machine first of all. All right, now as a regular step, we need to check whether packages with the name Samba is installed. So you see only Samba common and some client libraries are installed. The main packages are not yet installed. So what I need to do is I need to install all Samba related packages to avoid any issue. I'll say DNF install all packages starting with name Samba. So lots of packages it is going to get it installed. Let it install it. All right, package is installed. Now step number 2, like yesterday, you have to create one partition, right? Format it, mount it, make it a permanent mount, and then use it for Samba configuration. See, I want to skip that steps because you have already seen yesterday. I have created a partition, then I formatted, then I mounted, and I made a permanent mount also. So while you're practicing, I'm sorry, kindly do those activities. Take a partition, format it, mount it, and then use it for Samba sharing. So in my concept, what I'm doing is I'm creating a directory in slash with the name Samba. Suppose this is our mount point where we have mounted the partition SDA8 and we made it permanent, for example. Now, after mounting, like yesterday, we should check, does it have write access or not? So you see there is no write access. So let me say chmod 777 and Samba. See, after successful configuration of Samba configuration, if client is not able to upload the data, then check whether the directory you created has write access or not, right? So in our case, there is no write access. This might stop it. Secondly, in configuration, you should check whether you have given read write access or read only access. In configuration, if you have allowed only read, then people cannot upload the data. So there you have to give read and write also. So in the configuration, we must give read write access, and the directory should have write permission. So you see, first of all, we have done with write permission. All right. Now, there is one more thing what we need to take care of: SE Linux. See guys, SE Linux is something that is going to affect your Samba activity. So if you just check out ls-ldz and this directory, it might show you that this directory has a default context, something it is telling. Right? Now, if you want to use a directory with the Samba, then the context of the directory should be Samba underscore share underscore t. If you don't change it to Samba underscore share underscore t, then Samba will not allow this directory to be accessed with Samba. Sometimes your client will complain that when I'm connecting, it is asking me username and password. When I enter username and password, still I'm not able to connect. What might be the reason? The reason is the directory is protected by SE Linux, which is not allowing you to access this directory with Samba. If I don't change the context to Samba share, this directory will not be allowed to use with Samba activity. SE Linux will 100% going to block it. So there are two ways you can change the context. One way is simply you can say chcon-t Samba share and you can change it. The share will be changed. The other way is you can make the context as a permanent context. You remember in SE Linux we have learned, and I told you to brush up SE Linux skill set also. See, if you want to make a context as a default context for some directory, nowadays we are preferring more to make default context and restore the context. That's the standard process that is becoming slowly. Earlier we used to simply change with chcon and it used to be done, finish. But now, usually in working environments, how they are working is we want to make it as a default context so that if we restore the context anytime also, it should come back to Samba share. So how can I make a default context? You have to use a command uh, se manage f context, add a default context. What is the type of context you want to add? Samba underscore share underscore t. For which directory? Slash Samba. Now this is definitely going to take a time. It updates some file in the configuration. We learned that, right? Now wait for it to complete its process. And now I'll say restore con of Samba directory. Now you just check it out. You'll find that the context is changed to Samba share t. If you don't want this process, then simply you can say chcon change the context to Samba underscore share underscore t for Samba directory. That can also be done. But the problem will arise if someone run restore command, then from Samba share again it will go back to default. So every time, even if people say restore con, you want to come back to Samba share, then better to go with making it as a default context. Okay, practice this to make default and restore more, because nowadays it is preferred a lot that you make a context as a default and restore it. That is highly preferable nowadays, and that's what they are looking for in certification exams also. So if you are writing an examination, they'll ask you to create a Samba share. So there I request you to do this way: make a default context and restore the context. Okay, all right. Now the next thing, I want to create, or I want to use any existing user to be used as a Samba user. See, whenever we are connecting from Windows end, Especially when we talk about Windows, guys, we have seen that Windows is an operating system that is very user friendly and fantastic operating system. But the problem is, because of the user friendly nature, sometimes it may easily get affected to viruses, hacking, and other activities. So if you don't want that, we want some security. Like whenever people are connecting from Windows end, they should give username and password. That's how we can avoid automatic connectivity, right? So what we will do in this scenario is we'll say pdb edit hyphen l. I'm checking, do we have any Samba user, exclusive user that can be used with Samba connectivity? So in the list, I'm not able to see any user that can be used as Samba user. There is no such user which can be used for Samba activity. So no problem. If you want, you can create a new user, or in the list of user we have many users. You can take any user of your choice and convert that user into Samba user. Suppose I want to use U3. How can I add a user into Samba list? To add a user into Samba list, you have to run a command smb password hyphen a followed by username. Now this will add a user or convert a user into Samba user. So let me go for it. I'll say smb password hyphen a and the username is u3. Now it will ask you a password. Now this password is an exclusive Samba password. Whenever the client is connecting with Samba, they have to give this password, right? So this is Samba exclusive password. Let me keep the password as red hat 123. One more time, red hat 123. Now you go with pdb edit, you will find that u3 has been added into the list. Okay, so u3 user is now added as a exclusive Samba user that can be used for connecting to your machine through Samba. Now, I don't want U3 user to be connected normally. It should always be connected with Samba. So if you want to block normal logins, just remember user admin class, we learned that if you change the shell to sbin no login, then this user will not be allowed to log in normally. I'll say user mod, change the shell to sbin no login for U3 user. Now this user, we have restricted normal logins. It won't be allowed to log in normally, but it works only with Samba. Whenever you are connecting through Samba, it will ask a username. You have to give username and Samba password, and then only it will allow you to connect. So all our ingredients are ready now. It's time to put this ingredient into configuration file. Now we have to first go to a sample config file. So I'll take you to the end of the sample config file, which is etc samba smb.conf. If you have a time, I request you to go through this sample file smb.conf.example. Lots of examples are given inside it. Many tasks are mentioned. If you read it, you'll get more insight about Samba. So you see, it is showing you a last paragraph over here something. So just copy all the lines with that semicolon. So let me copy those last 7 lines. Now I'm going to go to main config file, which is etc samba smb.conf. Don't go for example anymore, just smb.conf. Now it has the real configuration, no samples. So go to the end, open a new line and paste. See, when I select it, it got copied. Now when I do right click, it will get pasted. But guys, these lines are commented. Normally in the configuration file, if a line start with hash, we call it as comment. In this case, if a line is starting with semicolon, even then it is called as a comment. So in order to use them, I have to get rid of all these semicolon, right? Now let's start editing it. The first thing in that square bracket is called as share name, the name that will be shared with all Windows client, the name with which people will be connecting to your server. So whatever name you are giving to it, same name should be used by Windows client. So I'll call it, for example, my share with capital M. So exactly same way people should connect. Comment just an information about what you are sharing. So whatever you like, you can type. I'll say my stuff. Now, which directory to be used to store my shares data? The directory that you have created, you have changed the permission, you have changed the SE Linux context, the same directory you have to mention, full path. So I'm telling that whoever connects to my share will be automatically using the data in slash Samba. Now, do you want public access to me? Yes. Public access means would you like to allow public IP connectivity over the internet? See, it is possible that Samba can be shared over internet. You can make a Samba server on AWS machine and people can connect through public IP also. But it is little risky because as you know, on internet, hacking and other things are very common. Anyway, if you want, you can keep it, yes, but I'm not interested in public IP. I want to share it within my private network, within my organizational limit, right? Then writable. Now, guys, here you have to decide whether you want to give a read-write permission or read-only permission. So if writable, you say no, that means you are not giving upload permission. You only giving download permission. So whoever connects to your Samba server, they can only download the data. They cannot upload the data. If you want to allow upload, download both, then you have to give yes in place of no. So suppose I don't want to give download permission, so upload permission. So I'm giving writable no. That means only download, no upload. Printable permission. Guys, we don't need any printable permission. If you are sharing a printer with Samba, then you have to give printable permission. It is possible that we can share a printer. What happens, guys, in the early times of computing? We don't used to have network based computers initially in 90s, right, or early 2000s. So what we used to do at that time, we used to connect a serial printer to a Linux machine, and that printer used to be shared over IP using Samba. So people would be connecting through Samba to your printer and printing. So one printer will be used by many. But nowadays, as you know, we have IP based printer, we have wired or wireless printers also. So this concept of sharing a printer with Samba has become outdated. We are no more using that concept. Anyway, now I want to give one more option here. Valid user. See, you have to mention that which user you want to allow connectivity, right? So maybe I'll say I want to allow U3, U2, U1, my user, all these users I want to allow to connect with Samba. They can connect, but first these users you must add into PDB list. You have to add the users into PDB list. Once you have added the users into PDB list, then these users can connect to your system through Samba. So one more thing I want to tell you here that writable permission we have given no. All right. But maybe out of 4 users, U3 user, I want to give write permission. Everybody should have only read permission. They can only download, but they cannot upload it. U3, I want to give download and upload both. So how can I choose 1 or 2 user and give them upload permission also or read write permission also? Here is the result. Write list. In write list, you have to mention plus U3. That means out of all, U3 will be getting upload access also. All the others will get download access only. U3 can upload and download both. So out of all user, if any user you want to single out and give them write access, then you can give in write list. So everyone will get one access, but this fellow will get both access. Anyway, so in our case, we don't require it because we have only one user. I'm removing all the other username, and in place of writable, as earlier I have given no, now I'll give yes. Last thing what I have to add is host allow. Now which user you want to, or which clients you want to allow, not user. That means like yesterday in NFS, we have declared the entire network as our client. Or suppose I have a specific machine. So I'll say allow only this IP to connect to your machine. So only people can connect to your Samba from client address 10.2. If you have one more, give a space and give another IP 192.168.10.3, 10.4 like that. If you wanted to declare the entire network as your client, yesterday in NFS I showed you we can give /024. That is valid method in most of the cases. In most of the cases when you want to declare entire network as your client, this is the perfect method. But when it comes to Samba, in Samba we have slightly different method. Here we have to give 192.168.10 dot. That means I'm declaring the network address. I'm telling that whichever client is connecting, it should be in at least 192.168.10 series. After that, it can be 10.1, 10.2, 10.3, anything. But the network address should be 192.168.10 series for sure. Okay. All right. So everything I have given inside it, but I still don't know whether have I given a correct thing or does it have any issues inside it. How can I check whether everything is correct or does it contains any error? See, in that scenario, save and quit this file and use a command test_pam. Now guys, this command is exclusive for Samba. It won't check any other configuration. When you run test_pam, it check smb.conf and tell you whether it contains any errors or not. So you see, it checked and told us that I found unknown parameter host allow. So it says, I don't recognize this parameter. There is a mistake in host allow line. So what is the mistake I have done? I'll tell you. I have used improper name. It is not host allow. It is hosts allow. So I made a spelling mistake. Instead of HOSTS, I have given HOST. Again, I'll run test. Once I corrected, again I'll run test PAM now. You see any error this time? No error. So this is how you have to always configuration. It's time now the services. So I'll say systemctl status smb nmb. How many services are there for Samba? Two services, smb nmb. Both are inactive. So I'll say systemctl enable now SMB and NMB, both services. Now you check, both services are active. All right. Also, we need to allow Samba in firewall. Otherwise, firewall is definitely going to block it. Now here we don't have to add SMB, NMB. You have to give the Samba name, that is application name Samba. So I'll say firewall command add service Samba permanent. Any change in the config, we must reload the service. Go back and list all. So you will find Samba is also added into the list. That's perfect. Server is ready. Now I need another machine that can I that I can take as a client, probably Windows. So I'll go for this laptop, what I'm using. I'll be using this machine as my client. So what I'll do here is in my computer, I'll right click and there is an option called, oh, I'm sorry, right click, add network location. I'm sorry, why this fellow is not showing that option correctly. Map network drive, I'm sorry. So I was little deviated. So map network drive is the option what we have to click. Right click on my computer and click on map network drive. Now it is asking you to connect. See, it is telling you an example how to connect. You have to give backslashes server address, share name. Now many people do a mistake here. I'll tell you what. They'll give backslashes IP address 10.40. Now instead of typing my share, they will give the directory name what we created. So guys, this will fail. You should not type the directory name. Instead, you should type the share name. What is the share name we have given? My share with capital M. Now, every time the system restart, if you want to automatically connect like permanent mounting, then click here. So I don't want that permanent mounting. I'm unchecking it. Now let me go with finish. See, it is asking you to give a username and password to continue. I'll give username as U3 and the password. The password is Red Hat 123. You see, I got connected. Now what you can do, you can put any data, whatever you want to put inside it. I'll open one more session here and let me try to put some data from here. I just need to copy paste. For example, this training agreement, it got uploaded. Go back to server, go to Samba directory. So sorry, check with ls. Did you see that it has uploaded, right? Great. Now you try to add some data. I'll say touch SMB 125. Did you see the same data as soon as I created here, automatically it is visible on the client side. So this is the way you can connect with Samba from Windows end and you can work with that. Now, if you want to get it disconnected like unmounting, go to this PC or my computer. Here is your share. Just right click and say disconnect. It will get disconnected. Now, Samba can also be used for connecting from Linux end. Suppose in examination, especially it happens. You don't have a Windows machine to test it. So what will you do? You have to take another Linux machine and test it. So how can I connect from Linux end and test whether Samba is connecting properly or not? So I'll take 50 machine as my client. See, on this 50 machine, you must install few packages first. The first package you have to install is Samba client. Samba hyphen client mandatorily. And the other package you have to install is CIFS utils. See, if CIFS utils are not installed, you will not have support for Samba file system. So these two packages are mandatory to be installed on every Linux machine to continue. So same like NFS, I will be mounting and connecting. First of all, I'll create one directory, Samba CL. Now I'll run mount. Yesterday with NFS, I told connect with NFS. But today, as we are using Samba, I have to say CIFS. How to connect? While connecting from Windows, we have given backslashes server IP. But while connecting with Linux, see different family backslashes, same family forward slash. So while connecting with Windows, backslashes we have to give. While connecting with Linux or Unix, forward slashes we have to give. Tell the IP address 192.168.10.40 slash what is the share name? My share with capital M. And I want to mount it on a directory I created SMBCL. But to connect, I have to go through a username that is U3. So I'm telling mount using CIFS, connect to this share, mount it here with a username U3. Oh, what is the directory I created earlier? I did not create it. Oh, Samba CL. I'm so sorry. I made a mistake. Samba CL. All right. Let me just correct myself. Now it will get mounted. Now it's asking for the password. Let me give the password red hat 123. Now you go with mount and tail. You'll find that 10.40 my share is now mounted on Samba CL. Okay, you go to Samba CL and you will find all the data that is uploaded. If you want, you can add any data from here also. There is no problem, right? And yes, you can make a permanent mount. You can make an auto mount, whatever you want. If you want to learn how to make a permanent mount, how to make auto mount with Samba, which is not generally required because NFS is a better utility we work with. But still, if you want to learn, I would recommend you to go to my website, musab.in, and in search, just look out for Samba. When you search for Samba, it will give you making Samba permanent and auto mount. So just go through this thing and it will give you the steps. How can you make an auto mount and permanent mount with Samba? All right, great. So that is it, guys. I wanted you to learn today Samba. I don't want to take any other topic today. If you have any questions or doubts, you can put your questions now, guys. Okay, thanks for confirmation. Great, then we'll stop the session here and let's meet up tomorrow. Tomorrow class will be lengthier because we are going to do two important related servers. So let's meet up tomorrow and finish those two important topic as well. See you tomorrow, guys. Thank you very much.